Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plate Stack Chat. It's the second show for me today, but the first one was not a convenient time for those in America. So here we are again. If you watched last week, you'll know that my camera didn't work. Fixed that problem. If you listened to the one this morning, you'll know that I selected the wrong microphone. So hopefully now all the bugs are sorted and we can actually have a good show for a change. Now, if you didn't know any of that because it's your first time here, well, then my name is Jason, and each show I get some great guests on for a fun chat. So let's bring them out now. So first up is a man that is responsible for dealing out some performance-enhancing stimulants to some of your favorite athletes in the world of CrossFit. But seeing as CrossFit hasn't yet added coffee to the banned substance list, I think we're okay. He's also the first guest to tell me that he would only come on after the series finale of a show had aired. Well, X-Men 97 has finished, and that means I can finally welcome Mr. Paper Street Coffee himself, Gabe, to the show.
What's up? There you go. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine, Gabe. Thank you for coming on. I look forward to. I've got a lot of things I want to ask you, but before we do that, we've got to bring on our second guest, because speaking of athletes that fuel themselves on Paper Street Coffee and are able to put up impressive performances, well, we have a wonderful athlete that competed at the games on a team in 2023, but is flying solo in 2024, securing her spot to the games out of the North America West semi-final. And considering people are saying how leg heavy the semifinals were, it is no surprise that someone that uses quads in their Instagram handle was able to finish in a qualifying spot. So yes, please welcome quads like... Oh, I nearly tripped up from our conversation earlier, Kyra. Quads like Kyra herself, Kyra Milligan.
Hi. I can't believe you brought me on last when Gabe was the late one. That's crazy.
Was a little late.
Well, you saved the best for last, so that's...
Yeah, and then you almost got my name wrong. Dang.
and that's because that is because Gabe was so late. We had time to talk about it, and I was explaining how that interview you did with Talking Elite Fitness, talking about people getting your name wrong, got in my head, and suddenly, like, you introduced an incorrect name into my brain, and now I'm filtering through like, oh, no,
trying to fix it for everyone who's calling me Kyra, but now it's confusing for everyone who wasn't.
Exactly. There you go.
I got your name wrong the first time.
That is true. Usually you get one free pass, then after that you kind of get like the death stare.
Yeah, I got Rogue's name right, so that's all.
That's true. There was bonus points there for sure.
Oh, I thought it was Carfling. Yeah. All right, I'm already looking at the comments, which is a mistake this early in the show.
Oh no.
So usually it's kind of like a relaxed chat. We just talk about, what's been going on recently, but for some of us, big things have been going on. So, Kyra, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. Tomorrow we start, actually training for the games. It'll be my first time going individual, so I'm super excited. This last week, I basically didn't do anything until 2 days ago. I started moving a little bit more. But like before that, I was organizing my house, sitting on the couch, taking the dogs for a walk, eating sugary breakfast, all the things that I wanted. And so tomorrow, I think it'll finally set in that training starts and I have to get back to it.
What's it like watching the semifinals when you've already got your ticket?
Oh, it was so nice. It was so nice. Like, I was sitting on my couch just watching it. Like, I had so many friends out there competing, though, so it was so fun to be able to cheer for them and, like, text them. But it was nice, like, already having my ticket punched, but also, like, seeing what my scores are compared to some of those girls who I'm going to be competing against. So, like, it was fun. It was fun to watch for sure. Way less nerve-wracking than watching the first week.
Oh, see, this is what I was going to ask. I was say, so how was watching the first week? Because that's when you're like, oh, I've got all of this to come.
Yeah, first week was really fun to watch because, the Europe semifinal, they are amazing. So, like, they put out some really, really good times. But it was definitely nerve-wracking. Like, that's kind of in the back of your head of, like, okay, they did this. Like, should I change my game plan because this person did and was successful? And then you just kind of forget about all that when 3, 2, 1 goes and you just go out and do what you can.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've been distracted because Augusta said, I like reading the comments. And then he's put up this comment. So it says, somewhere Greg Glassman just punched a tree hearing a games athlete talk about eating sugary cereal for breakfast. So.
Dude, the amount of sugar. Oh,
wow.
Don't like that. The amount of sugar I have consumed this last week. yeah. And I'm still not sick of it. Like, I was really like trying to eat so much the last 2 days that like when I started
Oh,
tracking again today, I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna miss that. Now, granted,
yeah.
I still have ice cream every single day. Like if I went and like candy during training, but like I was definitely overdoing it this last week.
Yeah. I like that strategy of I'll have so much that I'm sick of it, so then I'll go hard on like really dialing in my nutrition.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not. Like I had a frozen pizza last night and then some ice cream for dinner, and like I woke up this morning not wanting to make oats. So
Okay. But you said it starts tomorrow, right? So you've
yeah,
got time.
yeah.
You've got time. Yeah.
Trying to
Enjoy
be
the
a little
last.
better today, so training tomorrow doesn't hurt as bad.
But it is interesting. I think I don't know. I guess maybe the middle week is the best week because you get to watch one set of semifinals go through it all, and you can kind of maybe reevaluate some of your ideas because you're thinking, oh, I thought I was quite similar to that athlete, but they broke, and I was thinking I wasn't going to break, so maybe I
Yeah.
will break. And then you get to watch 1 week where you're like, okay, I've already done it and no stress. Whereas if you're in that last week, you've got 2 weeks of second guessing every decision you've made. And then if you're in the first week, I mean, if I like I'd ever be at semifinals, but if I was at semifinals, I would probably approach it similarly to my like open strategy, that is go and do it as soon as possible, and then it's done, and then
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
have to worry about it ever again, and I can let everybody else worry about it. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's
maybe
also
week one.
just hard. Like if you're third week, like the amount of time you're doing those same movements or like variations of those movements, like training's gonna get boring. Last year we were first week, so that was actually a lot of fun, right? Like you don't know a lot of like you don't know like all of the events and like standards and stuff, and so you're all in the same boat and you just get to go out and figure it out. This being the second week was definitely nice knowing that, but the third week I think it would be a little bit less fun, just being stressed doing the same movements, but it works. Everyone's in the same boat.
One somebody's encouraging me that I could make it to semifinals as a spectator, but I didn't this year. I didn't even make it as a spectator, so there's always next year. There's always next year.
Lofty goals for 2025.
Yeah, Corey's got a question. Frozen pizza, don't you have an oven? So I'm assuming you cooked the frozen pizza,
I
right?
definitely cooked the frozen pizza.
And Vindicate's in as well. Nice shirts, of course.
Is it mine? It has to be mine.
Oh. You got to show them the back. That's where the magic happens.
Can you see it?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we did. We trotted our way to the games.
So has it been a busy couple of weeks for you, Gabe?
Yeah. I mean, we're working on opening up the second shop there in Nashville. So sadly, we weren't able to head out to support our awesome athletes like Kyra, and even this weekend, we weren't able to head out to the semifinals, which kind of sucks because I've done it for 2 years, and it was such a cool year for Kyra to be there and make it. Even sadly Colton not making it, but just it would have been cool to be there. But just watching everything and actually being able to see her go, because when we're there, as much as our athletes are there, I don't have the time to go and look at the events and watch the events. So it was really cool being able to see her perform and just kind of we started the relationship, I think maybe coming up on 2 years. I think November of like 2 years ago or a year and a half, something like that. And just like seeing where you and the relationship you have with Kiefer, and like coming to now where shoot, man, like the goal has been achieved and now the goal has been pushed even farther, right? Because now we want to do really good at the games. It's really cool to see that. And that's why I wanted to come on with like an athlete that I know, because I mean, dude, like I have questions for her as well. Like I want to know as much as I can about her and how cool
I'll take
it is.
a sip of water from my
yeah, so it's been
fire away.
It's been dope. It's been really cool, and I haven't had I've never gotten a chance to debrief with an athlete like this, and kind of get her perspective What up, Jeff? Congratulations on the retirement, FYI, Jeff. Is Kiefer back? Is he still somewhere?
So his return flight was supposed to be this morning, I believe, but it got canceled and rescheduled for tomorrow. But I think he figured out a flight if he either drove to Nashville or Charlotte this morning, and then I think he gets back at like 10 p.m. tonight. Yeah, his travel weekend has been crazy.
Hey, I feel so. If we were open in Nashville, he would have been able to get a little caffeine in, but we're not
When is it
open yet. I'm hoping sometime in July we'll do a soft opening for the members there and people, and then we'll do a full-fledged opening a little bit later on down the road where we'll like market it out.
I'll have to come to that one because
please.
Your first store is a little too far for me.
Oh, we'll get you out to Jersey. It's easy. You'll come visit New York. You'll have some fun here. We
right after the games, we'll fly there.
Heck yeah.
A little celebratory.
I had a question, especially now that we like brought that back up. How was it like competing with most of the underdogs people out there? How'd you like keep yourself like, hey, I'm just performing just what I can do and just focusing on yourself?
Honestly, so last year I was at Rogue and I put like a lot of stress on myself. Like even though like being able to be out there with 15 of the fittest women, like that was already an opportunity in itself. But like I was just so stressed out during that competition, I didn't have fun. And so when I went to Dubai, I was like, okay, like whatever happens, like just have fun. And then I started like loving competing again. And so like once the workouts were announced for this competition, I didn't love 3 out of the 6 of them. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I can't think about that. Like, the thing that I can control is like my mindset, like how I'm feeling on the floor, like just loving every opportunity that's given to me. And so like even after the run event, I was smiling, like I was giving hearts to the crowd. Like I was so excited to be done, but also like execute it better than I had. And so being able to just be in a better mindset and being able to share the floor with like Alex and our 17-year-old Kendall and everyone else that like I've looked up to and who are now I call friends, like it was such a fun experience. Every single time I passed the finish line, I was smiling, I was waving to the crowd. I didn't even know where I finished half the Oh no.
Well, I was gonna. You said you don't know where you finished. I was just gonna ask. You said 3 out of the 6 you didn't love.
Yeah.
Which 3 were they?
I'm not a runner. We're definitely working on it. So that's why we made this shirt. John Young said if I could just get my trot on, I would be making the games. And that I did. I didn't love the second one. I'm not really good at double unders. Like I'm a really good squatter, toes to bar, but 500 double unders for me is a little hard. But placed well in that one. I think I got 8th.
8th, yeah.
Yeah. So we were happy. And then I'm not great on my hands. I'm not fast on my hands. I'm not confident on my hands, but we put in a lot of work. And so to be able to place 18th on that and the run was such a big accomplishment for me. Like I came in the back and one of my friends asked how it went. And I was just smiling ear to ear saying that I got 18th. Now to everyone else, right, 18th is a really bad score. But I was just so excited with how I did. I pushed it harder than I did in practice and it paid off.
I mean, I don't know. See, I'm just looking at like the girls that were ahead of you. And okay, apart from obviously like Abigail did really well. Well, Alex Kazan, she came second. She got a 23rd on event 5. Ariel, her lowest was 16th. Hattie, 23rd. Emily Rolfe, 29th. Danny Spiegel, 28th. Bethany, 19th. So only one. Yeah. So, I mean, actually, like consistently, you got 2 18ths, but.
Yeah, but I was consistent. Like I didn't have any home runs like I had wanted to. There was the other 3 events I'd really hoped that I'd place like top 5 on. But I didn't. But still did my best. There's just some really, really fit girls out there.
Well, and you're one of them, so that's the thing. When you say that. No, I mean, considering there was limited number of spots available. You got one of them. Consistency paid off. I mean, like that was the thing always with Justin winning the games, right? He wasn't having those home run events. He was just consistent in not having bad ones until one year he had a really bad one, and then the consistency wasn't enough to get him back up there. So, you know,
but like this year, I think my mindset has definitely already changed, especially since punching my ticket. But also like knowing that I was able to punch my ticket with 3 of my worst movements coming up this weekend is pretty great, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, if your worst movements are getting you 18th for a semifinal, I mean that's pretty that's pretty good.
Yeah, and we had to run the stairs on a run. That was so hard.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I was on Glinton Things yesterday. What day is it today? Monday. Yeah, yesterday. And we were talking with Ellie Hiller, and one of the things we were talking about was the fact that while it's standardized across all the semifinals, the runs are different because of just where they, because you're running outside or you're running inside or whatever, and how that could then impact, especially as it's the first thing you do, and then you've got all the other events coming. It's like if you're running, you're running up a hill every time versus, in Asia where they were just inside the venue running, like it's going to have a different impact for the next one. Like,
but also if
it doesn't matter because everyone in your field has that same thing, but still, like,
but it's like it's hard to compare. Like, she beat me by like 5 seconds because she's fitter. It's like, well, like you just really can't compare. Like transitions may be longer, and you'll just find out at the games, and it's a whole new set of tests. And a lot more of them.
And also because, like, I mean, I was saying, like, Adler on that first event, he was saying that kind of he was thinking he would go sub 20 and then didn't have to.
Yeah.
So he didn't, because why would you if you've still got 5 events left? And so and then week 1 was Asia, and people were like taking Sarah Kaya's time and being like, oh, you see, she would have actually finished here in Europe and she wouldn't have qualified. And you're like, yeah, but she won the event, so she didn't need to go any faster than she went. So probably she could have gone faster. Who knows? So
but also theirs may have been more than 800, may have been less than 800.
Yeah.
All so different.
Asia's run was sponsored by the TSA. Oh, so mean. So mean.
That is actually the one run loop that I would have hated to do.
Oh, really?
It's just like, it'd be so hard to like stop, go, like try to pass people. If somebody's in your way, taking like the inside corner.
Yeah. Oh, we've got people calling out John Young for his stats. He say, John messed up my leaderboard. I went YOLO Folo to make it because of him. I felt so bad for Folo because she had an amazing day 1 and 2, and then actually yesterday was devastating when like they handed out the spots, because there's so many that you kind of wanted to make it and just
there's so many good girls out there, and Annika is one of my friends, and so it was just heartbreaking for one spot out again by 1 point.
Yeah, and so kind of the camera to linger on her afterwards. I was just like, guys, maybe just give her a moment. No, we don't need to see that.
Yeah.
You gotta create a story. You gotta create a story. You need the story. There's gotta be people behind there. Like, you want that. You want, as much as you want the peaks, you need the valleys, right? Because then it doesn't make any sense. You're just gonna have like that adrenal, just like, everything's always fine. It's like, nah, create the story. Show the darkness once in a while.
But when it is her time to make the game, she's gonna tear it up, and I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, I mean, she had a tough fight because of being in the earlier heats and like having to put up times that would then stay relevant after multiple heats, and she did really well. And so
it was so good.
And then, I mean, I've seen people posting up the video of like the no rep on the lunges, and why did she get called back, and others did. It is what it is.
Thing they said you can't use your legs to help with the dumbbells, and so she used your legs to help regrip. Because if we could, right, like, if you have good mobility, like, I would have just sat there with the dumbbells on my legs, give myself a second, and then stand back up and go.
Right.
So it was sadly a no rep, but and I think she understood that too. Like, she didn't argue with the judge or anything. She just like set him down and walked back.
Oh, see, that's nice. That's the insight we need. It's actually hard to. It would be nice if CrossFit would like they do for the open workouts, just release the movement standard, like release a document. It's like, this is the workout and here's all the movement. Because even I was asking like an athlete if they had a copy of anything, and they're like, no, it was all just brief
Yeah,
verbally.
just
So I
all
was like, okay.
verbal, and then you have to hope that the judges are paying attention
Yeah.
and they're on the same page as you.
Oh, it's fine. It is what it is. It's CrossFit. That's how CrossFit works.
Yeah.
But it's good that you can laugh and smile about it. What do you care? You got a Gabe's ticket. It's fine. Any more questions, Gabe? This has been fun getting you on to to interview the guests.
You gotta ask Gabe a question. I'm the one that's been talking the entire
No, you're the athlete. You're the one going to the games. How cool was it to have Kiefer be your coach, especially through this whole process?
It was fun.
You guys both making it.
Yeah, like he's had a great season. He had one athlete punch his ticket in Europe, two in Oceania. No, 3. I can't remember. 2 maybe in Oceania, and then me. So he's gonna have a really, really good game season. And then he has our teenager going to the teenage games too.
Wait, who's the team that he's got?
Kendall Gilmore.
Okay. There's a lot of good teams going this year as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she was the youngest one at our semis. She made the individual elite semis with me.
Oh, right, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
That is as well. Like, it was amazing to see all the semis. Pretty much all of them, you had age group athletes there as well, either masters or teens had already qualified, and it was kind of like we'll see. maybe I'll do this, and then or at least a good practice, good training for when they do.
Yeah, and it's the first year that they've been able to do that because they separated the teens and age groups and everything. And I thought it was really cool because you were able to do both.
Okay, here's a question that's been asked for you. Kiefer makes a workout for you that you don't like. How do you respond?
I do it anyways. I don't like most of the workouts he writes for me.
Yeah.
He doesn't give me a lot of stuff that I'm good at.
Why is that?
He's a good coach.
Right? Yeah. Crazy. So every once in a while, like maybe once every 2 weeks, he'll throw me a bone where it's just like you still need to touch this, here you go. And then after it, I'm like, okay, that was fun. But then the next day, I get to die again.
What are you good at? Like what would be kind of dream workouts or a few dream movements to show up at the games?
Oh, well, my favorites are pistols because I'm way faster than everyone. Ring muscle ups, a heavy squat clean, handstand push-ups. Anything with those, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good chance they're all showing up at the games.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So
if we could all work them into one workout, though, I would be very happy. Not that they ever would.
You never know.
Yeah, it'd be weird to do pistols and squat cleans, but it's not out of the possibility.
Yeah. Well, if you write the workout, you can write the workout. We could email it over to Dave and just see if he's. Yeah. We don't have to tell him it came from you. We can just sort of.
He still wouldn't know who I am.
Oh, you think? I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, after this year, I mean, after making it to the games, definitely, you'll probably do dope there.
You should take advantage of like the next, couple of months where you could say what you want, do what you want, and Dave doesn't know who you are, and then you're not on his radar. Say what you want about Dave.
I show up to the games and he has heard everything that I've ever said, and gives me more running to do.
Yeah. He tells you to it'll be like a Fraser again. He'll be like, yeah, run again, another lap. But he doesn't tell everyone else. It's just you.
But you're right. I deserve that. Okay.
Oh.
Where is it, Wad Zombie?
Yeah.
Some good things are coming.
You've got quite a good collection of cards there. They're too small for me to make out who I think is that.
I have a signed Ariel, Colton, and then for whatever reason, I have another Ariel.
Nice.
Do you know? Because I was like, well, that one's Ariel, and then I was looking in the middle. I was like, I think that's Colton, and then I was like, I don't know what that one is because it's very similar to the Ariel one.
It's Ariel.
It's Ariel again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got rid of my babies due that week, so that's a definitely no.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a. I thought that was a. So that's a maybe.
No. That's a definite no. We're working on maybe working with some like outside like sponsors and doing something there. I wouldn't be there. Maybe Paulina goes, and obviously Roderick will be there to support and kind of be there. But I just can't be there.
That's very understandable. I don't think anyone will be upset about that.
yeah. Everyone. Yeah. It's cool. Again, like this one is super bittersweet because a lot of people like that I actually want to see compete. I'll be able to see for the first time in 2 years because again, like if I'm there, I don't see the competition. So
Not at
I'll
all.
be
I
able.
remember last year, like I would come see you at the booth and you'd be like, "How'd you do?" I was like, "We just won." You're like, "Oh, nice."
I had no idea what was going on. And I don't think I should, right? Like I'm there
No,
working.
you're so focused and like you're busy when you're working and just like being in that moment. So
Yeah.
You need someone who's feeding you information. Like
right.
like politicians have somebody that'll be telling them like who everyone is. And so as Kyra's like coming up to the booth, someone just leans over and says, "They just won the last event. You should congratulate them."
It's funny. We just talked about that with Paulina yesterday about her doing the same thing. Yeah, but even so, right? It's just so much information coming in because as much as we have a really cool relationship with athletes like Kyra, and other content creators and things like that, we want to make sure that if I'm there at the games, Wadapalooza, anywhere, I want to make sure that we're also interacting with the people that support us, just the regular people that just buy coffee online and just we want to have that interaction. I don't want to just solely focus. I want to focus on the people, on everyone, and have a relationship, even if it's like a small little like conversation while I'm giving someone coffee. I want them to feel like, oh, okay, cool. Like Gabe does care. And that's also a sentiment that we transition and we try to have the people that work at our coffee shops kind of really focus on. Okay, you're walking into a place where I just want people to feel awesome and comfortable, and you feel like, hey, you could talk about anything, and just even though it's a cup of coffee, like I want to walk back in here. So unlike like a Starbucks or like a regular place that you would normally go to.
Yeah, that's good though, isn't it? I mean, that's sort of the art of service that's disappearing a bit. So bringing that back is really key, especially like because I mean it's already interesting that most people like go brick and mortar to then start doing stuff online, kind of to expand. Whereas you've gone from online to starting to get more and more, you're now opening a second sort of actual physical location, which is a good sign. It means things must be going well. I mean, you can bring all these amazing athletes.
Or I'm just really dumb.
Yeah. Well, expecting a
Gabe just
child
really
that always
loves
confuses people.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, dude, we started during the pandemic, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't need a brick and mortar. Let me just sell things online. So worst case scenario, everything shuts down again next year. I still got it. And then after being in front of so many people at the games and all these other events, I'm like, dude, I love customer service. I might not, I might be quiet, but I love interacting with people. Like I'm not gonna go and like I can make friends with anyone, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna go talk in the middle of the crowd. And now that we're doing this, like, dude,
that's why you bring Roderick along to things.
yeah, exactly.
Send him into the middle of a crowd, and you can
exactly. He'll start the conversation, and then I can easily close the conversation. So this is why we have a really good working relationship.
Just put him on a fishing line and just like launch him out there as a reel back in. Nice.
Exactly. He's amazing.
Let's go for this then. So I'm guessing it's Sean. The accent on the A is throwing me off. Gabe, give us a breakdown of your coffee sourcing production. Specialty coffee nerd here.
Yeah, cool. So, for instance, we're just coming up with we're introducing a little bit more expensive coffee. And people have tried this. It's not like a brand new thing. It's a geisha. It's coming in the end of July. So how this one happened was a small importer reached out to us. They work with small farms, and these small farms are exactly what it sounds like. It's just maybe, one or two people that own the farm and they take pride in making this awesome product, this awesome bean. And it's really hard to work with huge companies because they might have, oh, you could only grow this. It needs to be done by this time, right? Like it needs to be harvested end of November for us to have it in by March. And that's not how it works. It needs to be done at a specific time. They'll send us products. We'll have the conversations with the farmers. This one in particular is going to be a Colombian. We have a bunch of Colombian already, but it's going to be a Colombian again. And if we have a really good relationship with the farmers, with the importer, and the samples that they send is really good, we'll bring it in. And then the fun part starts, and it's us testing these recipes out to see what tastes the best, what smells the best. Paulina's here, and I just started making her like this other really cool coffee that she just had, I think 2 days ago, over ice, and it tasted exactly like tea. It was tea. It wasn't coffee. It was just tea.
Interesting.
And it was one of those things where we're like, whoa, dude, this is really good. How can we now make a product similar to that? Tasting other competitors. So it's a long process. I mean, shit, I ordered these beans back in February and they're just getting to us in July. If we were like a bigger company, it's like, hey, we're ordering it today. I need it by the end of the month. And then bam, 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 bam. It's like, no, hold on. That's not how we work. It's a slow labored process because it needs to be, because it can't be sped up. And yeah, I mean, it's just, dude, I've made a bunch of mistakes. Trying to get to where I am right now. And now we're here.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got that like CrossFit audience there, like waiting, and I suppose they're a bit more used to anyway. Kind of, I want this, and it's going to take time to get it, but that's the one I really want. I mean, even simple thing like that. I remember a period of time when like people wanted certain grips. And they would just, especially in the UK, they were just like always sold out. And someone would be going to America, and they'd be like, "I'm going to America. Do you want me to see if I can get you these grips?" And like, "Yeah, okay," because otherwise it's like a 6-month wait list. So I think they're quite used to maybe waiting for quality, but knowing that, like, yeah, I'd rather, or even just supporting local, local brands, local businesses. We kind of love doing that over going necessarily for the big names that are, I mean. You've already mentioned Starbucks, so let's not talk about Starbucks. I actually like, so as people that listen to this will know, I lived in Italy for like 10 years, and it made it really hard to buy coffee when I came back to the UK because, like, just the price. I would go in somewhere and they'd be like, for just an espresso coffee, and it's like £3.50, and I'm like, are you kidding? That was
€1.
That was €1 for
Exactly.
the last 10 years. I can't pay this. Like, and it's not as good. That's the problem. So you want me to pay more money for a worse product? It just doesn't sit. Now I've been back about 8 years. It's sort of been beaten out of me. So I will have that stuff. But even trying to find like, there are a few, Bath is quite.
There's a reason why it's €1. That's all I'm saying. The worst coffee I've ever had in my life is Italy.
Oh, really?
Like the worst coffee I've ever had in my life.
It's because you've not gone to my friend's house, who just, I don't know why, he can make the best coffee ever. I don't know what he does. I mean, he drinks a lot of coffee. It's probably what he does. And he's perfected the art of making coffee. And it just is so good. I don't know why.
Kyra, have you ever been to Italy? Have you ever been? No. All right. So if you go to Italy, I love their culture, right? Because like the espressos in the back bar, and then they'll serve you in the front counter, and you're able to just drink your coffee there, right? It's really cool. It's like this, like you don't go take it to your seat. Here's your espresso. It's never to go. It's always like you're drinking this here and now. Give me €1, bye. But just like the quality of it, like they don't clean. They just like they don't grind it right away. They have like a whole bunch of ground coffee that's already there. But it's all part of the culture too. It's all part of like that like experience. Like if you're gonna go to Italy, it's like, hey, you're also gonna get this really cool kind of story. And like that's how they drank coffee for hundreds of years, like exactly this way.
Yeah. And even like if you bump into someone in the street, like, if I bump into Gabe and we've not seen each other for a couple of weeks, and like, oh, you're having a baby, tell me about that. We don't stand in the street and have that discussion. It's like, let's go. And you grab that coffee, you stand at the counter, you drink it, and you exchange that 5-minute conversation of how life's going, and then you move on. Yeah,
I like that, because then you don't have to make like that awkward follow-up big thing to go to like grab coffee in like a week.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's really cool, especially like now we're talking about like coffee culture. It's really cool, like how it is in Europe, because there's some places that are sit down, and that's what the US has kind of adopted, like a sit down place or like a grab and go. So it's like very two extremes. While like in European culture, literally like, hey, you're just gonna go out for like a cigarette and a cigarette and a coffee, and you're gonna take it there, you're gonna drink it there, and then you're just gonna head out. And just a bunch of people like that were there on their break. I was in Milan, and dude, you walk in Milan, every guy is like in a 3-piece suit, like perfectly tailored. I was like, dude, I need to go back home and change my whole wardrobe. And they're just there, like just drinking their espressos, dude. It was, I was like, dude, I'm in love with Italy. Not with their coffee, but just
No. Maybe that's where I tell you what. If you open a brick and mortar place in Italy, maybe I'll go. Maybe that's closer for me. So that'll be. I'm not promising that I'll go, but maybe I'll make it.
Hey man, you never know what happens. I do like the UK. I do like like the idea of something out there. You never know what I have work, in the works.
Yeah. Are you gonna go to Rogue?
Me or him?
Well, either of you.
I'm going to definitely try to go to Rogue again. Qualifying for Rogue is really hard.
But this time you're already a games athlete, so
this time you have to be top 15 at the games or still do the qualifier again.
Yeah, well,
top 10 at the games. So
there's your goal. I mean, I think you should use that as motivation in the workouts when you're like, oh, I need to put this weight down. And think, oh, but then I have to do the qualifiers.
I gotta be a lot fitter for top 10.
Don't say that.
You got this.
Don't say that.
Not fitter.
Yeah. Would Paper Street visit if you had some athletes there?
The plan right now is to go because again the baby's due in early August. I think the timeline is good. I think we are. I want to, obviously you've had conversations with Roderick. I would love to be there just because it's a different community. We would not be able to do like a whole booth setup just because of how logistically it would be too much and too crazy. But I think just going out there and being able to spend some time with like the European contingents of this community that we have that's like super global would be really, really dope. I would love for it to be the case that Kyra's also there and you have a few of our athletes so we could also support her and support the other athletes. But we're working on it. Hopefully, I think that we're like 85% positive that I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'd love to as a sidekick and just go anyways.
I do. You know what, Kyra? It's a good idea. Book your flights and accommodation now,
right?
And then, but Rogue pay for it, don't they? If you
qualify, they have like a stipend set aside for you for like $2,000 of it. Rogue treats their athletes very, very well.
Okay, well then I'm not sure. I was going to say book it now. It's really cheap. You book it all now, and then if you don't qualify, you go and you help out Gabe, and if you do, then you've already got everything booked. But yeah, actually, if Rogue will pay for it, maybe wait and then go first class.
Gotta wait and see. Yeah, the whole qualification process from Rogue is crazy. The weighing and everything.
Did you see they just released stuff today on their Instagram about the new calculation and how they go? So it'd be interesting. But
so I don't even think it's like qualifying top 10 of the games anymore. It's like if you're top 10 on that point system, then you get your invite, and then from there you do the qualifiers.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
It's crazy.
Well, Gabe, maybe I'll see you there. That would be nice. So,
yeah, man, I would appreciate it. I mean, I think how stressful was it to try to qualify for Rogue, especially like after the games, Kyra? Like after you had that.
It was fun and stressful at the same time. Like after team games, I was like, you know what? I definitely do miss individual. A day went by and I looked at Kiefer and I was like, okay, I'm ready to start training for the qualifiers now. Like, I did not take that much time off. I was like, if I don't make it, whether I make it or not, I was like, we'll take a week off. And then doing the entire qualification process was crazy. Like, you have to weigh everything, make sure it's exactly weighed. You have to measure everything. Like, all of this stuff has to be to a T. And Kiefer was gone that weekend, too. He was gone, like, helping his other athletes in a different competition. And so thankfully, like just the community we had down here in Vegas, they helped me. They read all the rules. I had like Dakota weighing everything for me, like figuring all that out while I was just warming up. So like it was definitely stressful, but if I didn't have my friends here who helped me, I don't think I would have been able to go.
Yeah.
But it's like you could still be the fittest person and like you didn't measure something and then you're out.
Wow. Then you're not mentally fit That's the problem, isn't it? You need to be,
Yeah.
you know, Fikowski isn't making that mistake, is he?
No.
I mean, it's
But
so funny though as well that
it's fun.
like you've just qualified for the games, like you're going to the games. That's amazing. And then we're like, so what about Rogue? Because are you going to start trying to qualify for that? Like, let's enjoy the games first.
I know.
But I mean,
Actually, after I punched my ticket, I was like, I'm really, really excited to go to the games. Like, I'm so stoked. Like, cried when my name got called. I was like, I don't have to do the qualifiers for Wadapalooza now. I think I just get an invite. I'm so excited. I hate qualifiers.
yeah, that there really is no solution to that, is there? I think about it quite often. Like it pops into my head. I'm just like, yeah, how can we get rid of online qualifiers? Because they are really one of the worst bits of.
They are, but then like you can't just base it off of everybody who goes to the games, because then
No
people
one new can
are
break
like,
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
like your rising stars aren't going to have a chance to get their name out there. Other people aren't going to be able to like get that experience. So while I dislike doing them, they make sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand. It would be nice if there was. I mean, like if you could have a massive infrastructure and then bring in like all the local comps and little things and have that add to your rank and allow you to
Yeah.
qualify for things, but that just requires a massive amount of communication between different organizations that are not linked up. So that's
Yeah.
that's
No, we're not
unlikely
there
to
yet.
happen. But but I don't know. Maybe Paper Street Coffee can do something. I assume maybe they can link up all these competitions.
Gabe's a man for anything.
Yeah.
I'm down for a lot of things right now. I think my bucket is very, very full. My bucket is about to be even more full.
But in such a good way.
Yeah, in like the best way. And I think like, yeah, the qualifying process is like weird because I like you do have people like Kyra came through the qualifying for Rogue, right? Even though that alone was like super stressful, like 6 athletes now, 5 athletes. What happened there, Rogue?
No, that's how it was before.
Yeah, remember they like messed up the calculations and you got like
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like
So that was actually the most stressful part. So I was sitting in 5th.
oh no, she got a phone call and now she left. Now it got so much uglier the second that she left.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
I mean, she just adds a little bit, she adds a little zest to the.
Heidi said that she would program a comp where she guarantees she'd win herself a spot for Rogue. I'm interested to know what she would program. So that's some homework for her in the comments.
Oh no!
Welcome back.
Hi.
Did you get a phone call?
So I was sitting in 5th. She was sitting in 6th. 1 point out. Accepted our invites, and they noticed that there was an issue with somebody's score. They put their weight lifted in kilos instead of pounds, and it was like an issue. And so when they fixed that, we had tied for points, but she had jumped me. And so I think because they already sent out the invites, they're like, okay, we're gonna take 6 now. Like everything's fine.
Wow, that yeah.
Like I remember, like once I saw that, I was just like in tears because everybody was emailing me being like, oh, like I'm so sorry you're out now. And I never heard anything from Rogue for a while. It was just everybody else telling me I was out. And then I think like
that was
2
the
hours
person
later-
that was the person in the spot below you just saying, oh, I'm so sorry you're out now. So you might as well just don't accept your invitation.
Yeah, right. And then I just remember Rogue like emailing me like, no, like you're coming too. We're taking 6. Like Rogue really does treat everybody very well. Like athletes, communication, everything. It was great.
Yeah, I'm really excited to go. So that'll be nice. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and now if they could just bring the games over to Europe as well, then I'll be golden. Everything finally
That's
will
so
work
much
out.
traveling though.
Or so much less traveling for some of us.
I know. But like for my off-season comp, I think like whether Rogue works out or not this year, Keeper and I want to do like another off-season comp out there. So like whether it's down under with Gracie or something like that, it'll be fun. It's lots of traveling.
Yeah, it's funny. I was speaking so the episode I recorded earlier today was with Khan Porter and Aliana Lau. So she's from the Philippines, he's in Australia. And when we were talking about like off-season comps and stuff like that, it's interesting to hear what they bring up. So like, obviously Khan mentioned Down Under. She was mentioning like one in Bangkok and like these big comps that are like in Asia. And you're kind of like, yeah, I never hear about these. So I don't really seek them out, but it's like, oh, maybe interesting. It'd be interesting to see I think it would be good for those places as well to get athletes that have like been to the games and things like that dropping in at some of these comps. That would be great. Like,
absolutely. I mean, that's like one thing Keeper's doing is for all of his athletes this year, he's going to try to find like all the qualifiers and all of the different off-season comps, and so they can just kind of choose a couple that they want to go to, because usually you don't hear about it until it's like the day before and you see somebody posting about it. You're like, oh, that would be cool.
yeah. And I think this year, I guess it happens every year, but this year it just feels like there's more names we expected to see at the games not make it to the games. Like the list of athletes that you're like, oh, but surely they would have made it to the games.
Yeah.
No, not this year.
There's
which
a
means,
lot of rookies going.
yeah, but it means that like they're looking for, they probably haven't peaked yet, so they're like kind of still looking to be able to express their fitness for the rest of the, well, not maybe for the rest of the season. Good idea to get a head start on the next season, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
but
they're
it's
going to want to
also
do
just
something.
nice. You always just need something to like train for. It just kind of keeps you motivated, keeps you excited, engaged.
Yeah. Gabe, this is unrelated. So, is it your first child that we're waiting for?
Yeah, my first child. Don't count my dogs, but yeah, first
Dogs
child.
count, but yeah.
I don't count your dogs.
Yeah, no. This is the first full-fledged kid that we're having.
Human child. There we go.
Yeah. We did our 3D ultrasound today, and the guy looks sick.
Nice.
Speaking of like off-season competitions, I would have invited Kyra, but not anymore because it's too close to the games. We invited.
Offended, Kyra.
No, I would never. Like if you want to come, you can
I would have
come,
invited Kyra, but
no, it's August because it's August 24th, and like chill, right? Like after the games, chill.
Depending. What is this?
It's a competition out in Jersey, so they reached out to me to help them out. The event organizers are pretty dope, and as messed up as it was, I was like, "Yo, Colton, you want to come out to Jersey the 24th? Like, here's a competition. Like, if you want to do it." And they had like decent semifinal athletes, like there. So like competitions like that, like, hey man, like maybe he is looking for something, especially since he's one of those athletes that like he was looking for that weekend in August to compete, and now it's like, oh shit, what do I do? So there's competitions like that all over. So if Kiefer's looking for one, I know one, but it's in Jersey.
Send it to me, because even if I don't go, if somebody else goes, and then I can still see the shop and be there to support them.
Oh, bro. Heck yeah. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I was going to reach out to everyone, but again, at the same time, it's like, hey, am I going to reach out to my athletes that made the games? Probably not, because, it's not.
Depending.
Yeah.
I suck at chilling. Other than like after semis, I actually enjoy that time off, but after competitions, I just get really excited to start training again.
Dude, how much would, okay, thankfully you made it, but how much would it have sucked if you didn't and Kiefer just like had to be like, bye?
It definitely would have been a little hard, because all of his athletes who made the games are going to come and train with me here in Vegas for the summer. So it'll be so fun to have them all here. And while it would have been sad watching them all train, I would be training with them too. But like, I still I adore every single one of them who qualified, and I would have just been so happy to be able to train with them. So while yes, it would have sucked, I would still be like excited to be getting better with them and just being able to go and cheer them on too.
Yeah, the problem is that they're getting better with you as well. So if you're even there thinking, well, it's okay, I'll train with them now, I'll get better, and then next year I'll qualify. You're like,
next year
they're getting better as well.
Getting better to qualify.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of comps now. I was just looking at my calendar because I was trying to work out what the date was. I think on the 5th of July, there's the UK champs, and like they put a thing in. So they've done the online qualifiers, but they kind of as well reserve some spots to invite people from semifinals that didn't make it to the games. So
see, that's cool. Like, I've never heard of that competition at all, and I am on Instagram all the time. So like, I can just
it's strength in depth UK champs. So it's
okay.
The strength in depth that was a semifinal.
Yeah.
Now they have like 3 events in the year. So they've got like Origins, that is an affiliate, like a true affiliate competition, in the sense that it's a 12-person team made. It's a 12-person team. They have to be from your affiliate. They're very hot on like controlling that. They do have an invitational like league as well, where they usually have maybe like 6 teams that are training camps or things like that. But the proper kind of main division, they're all affiliates, and it's a mix of men, women, and 2 of them have to be masters. One has to be over 35, one has to be over 45. And
That just
that's
seems crazy trying to like organize.
well, that's where the name Strength in Depth came from, because it was the depth of your box. It wasn't enough to have like a box with 2 games level athletes and then everyone else is, just a kind of casual whatever. It was like, and the way they do it is there'll be some events where it's like all 12, but they'll kind of maybe go out in pairs and do stuff, and then they'll split it and they'll do like, so this year I think like 6 went to the swimming pool and had to do the pool event, and 6 went to the other floor and had to do like a snatch and a clean. Like I think maybe the guys had to get like a 1 rep max snatch and the girls had to do like a 1 rep max clean and jerk or something like that. So it kind of now you've got to choose. He might be your best swimmer, but he also might be your best like at snatching. So where are you putting them? And so it's an interesting event. But they do that. They do Fit Fest at the end of the year. That's kind of more of an exhibition.
Yeah.
But then that's also got like a 3-person team competition as well, which is again more. So that's nice because you get like people that have signed up for that. They come along, but then there's also the exhibition of like the elite, games athletes there as well. So it's kind of cool to see that. And then UK Champs is this one that they've sort of positioned right now after semi-finals to be a one for you can qualify for it, but it's also that kind of second chance for those that they missed out on going to the games and they want to express a bit more of their fitness. So I'm looking at the European field. I'm seeing who didn't qualify this year, and I'm like, could be some interesting people.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see.
When's everyone getting to Vegas and like training with you guys? Like a month out?
Gracie will be here in a month. Yeah, she'll be here in a month, and then I think Luca and Bailey will be here like a week after that. So I'll have like a month to train by myself, and then they'll get in, and then we'll get some training done. I might go up and hang out with Brandon Luckett for a week or so where he's at.
That's a good dude right there.
Such a good dude.
Thank you for introducing him to Paper Street Coffee.
You're welcome.
He just like buys the coffee all the time.
It's because when he stays here and your coffee mixed with my Breville machine, everybody goes through it like crazy. And I have to text Pauline. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Can I have some more? I'm like, I promise I don't drink it all. I just drink my 1 cup a day, but everyone else.
Is that all you have? One cup a day?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have very little caffeine. Like 1 cup a day, maybe a drip coffee, and then if maybe another coffee, or like this is my first caffeine of the day, the Fit Aid.
Yeah.
And I'll be set.
Okay.
I'll do like pre-workout or like a C4 or something before.
Here we go.
Yeah.
No, I just want to.
So, like Kiefer will have like a quad shot in the morning, maybe another one, maybe one before 7 p.m. if he has work to do. Some energy drinks throughout the day. So like.
No.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah, Jeff! If you want, you could definitely try some good dudes.
Yeah. Well, it says like other coffee brands are available. You gotta put that as your little disclaimer.
I forgot for a second. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Jeff wrote something down there. Jeff's a good dude. He supports Josh and everything, and please buy good dudes also, because same but different.
Yeah, there's plenty of people. They all need coffee.
Yeah,
and as Gabe has already said, it's a slow process sourcing the beans. It takes time, so you got to have other options as well. So there you go.
Dude, 2 days ago, Paulina visits the shop, and usually in the US, everything is a double shot.
Oh, is it? Of course it is.
Yes,
why am I surprised by that?
Exactly.
Everything is.
Unless you specify, hey, I just want a single shot, you're gonna get a double shot. So I go use the restroom. She comes out. She has her latte, and we do everything that we have to do there. And then she's helping me. We're going somewhere, and she just has a headache, and I'm like, hey, are you all right? She's like, yeah, my head is killing me. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go eat. We haven't eaten since she worked out. Let's just go eat. I had to stop by a contractor's house and get some stuff from him, and I'm like, I come back out, and she's like, Gabe, my head's really hurting. So I have an emergency supply of snacks for Michelle since she's pregnant. So I'm like, hey, grab the emergency supply of snacks, eat something in the meantime until we get to wherever we are. She eats something and her head is still hurting. I'm like, how much coffee did you have? All you had was a latte. She's like, yeah, I had a double shot. I was like, no, explain to me. What do you mean you had a double shot? You asked for a double shot? And she goes, yeah, I asked for a double shot. I'm like, explain to me what they did. She said, they put one shot, they made another one. I was like, dude, that's not a double shot. You had 4 shots of espresso. Plus, I made her coffee in the morning, and I think she had like another energy drink. So she had like minimum of like 800 milligrams of caffeine coursing through her body.
Nice.
And that was.
I thought you were gonna say like she was getting a headache from not enough coffee. And
I thought that's where we were going.
Understand that.
No. She was like, that was a night of UFC. So like here on the East Coast, if you're watching fights, the UFC fights, the main card starts at 10 p.m. and it finishes at 1:30 a.m.
Ooh.
She was up the whole time. She normally falls asleep at like 7. We're here. We had a few. My friend was over. We were watching the fights. It was the most fun thing ever. We introduced her to sports gambling. We're just like bad influences. She made money betting on sports.
So it seems that that's in his breakfast.
Yeah, I mean that's some people. Yeah, that's like it sounds like that's also Kiefer's daily intake.
I see no problem with this.
Yeah, dude, no.
It's a slow Tuesday.
Everyone's over here like, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, that's how we survive. As long as you guys are drinking your water too.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's true. I mean, actually, my Paper Street coffee cup is full of water at the moment, so that's.
Yeah, I thought he was drinking coffee at what 7 p.m. there right now.
Yeah, no.
Like, right.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I usually have a double espresso in the morning, and then it depends. Like, I'm kind of a thing is like again when I was in Italy, I was like a social drinker of coffee, so it would be okay. You know, you bump into someone, you'd have a coffee, which meant maybe I would have 2, maybe maximum like 3. And then for a period of time, I worked in Venice in a hotel on like the reception desk, and you know people would come in, and you kind of have to like, okay, take them up for a coffee, and then I realized I was just drinking so much coffee, just kind of because of the people we had coming in to do work in the hotel or things like that, and I was like, I'm gonna have to stop just having a coffee when other people have a coffee because it's too much. So I cut it right back. But now it's the same. It's like I'll have the one in the morning, and then if the opportunity arises, I'll have another one, and if it doesn't, it's fine. But I don't drink any. Like I don't have any C4 or Monster or Nocco or Fit Aid. Occasionally, I actually for a period of time I had loads of Fit Aid and Nocco in the house because every time I went to events, I got given them. And I didn't drink them. I would just keep a couple in the car for like an emergency, you know, that 3-hour drive back from an event. And I'd be like, okay, this will help me get home without crashing.
You keep them in the car for that, so you drink them warm?
No, I think I would load them into the car on a day like I knew I was going.
Okay,
so I'd put them in something like I wouldn't. Yeah, no.
So they're not like boiling hot from sitting in.
They're not boiling hot, and also, you have to remember I live in England. They're not going to be boiling hot no matter what.
Sorry,
so
here it's like over 100 degrees right now, so I just assume everywhere is.
No.
Sean. Well, it depends. I mean, if you're coming to my coffee shop and you ask me for a flat white, like I'll do a little bit of vetting to my customers. So like if I know if I'm there at the coffee shop and you ask me for a flat white, generally not a lot of people are going to ask me for a flat white. So I'll start then asking questions, and I'll go with like, hey, what type of milk do you want? If you tell me you want regular milk, then I'm going to ask you what type of shot do you want? Do you want we have a light roast or a medium roast? Then I'll start asking those questions. And then if you know your coffee, then I'll ask you your size. Like, hey man, we normally serve it in 12 ounce. I don't know, whatever. We serve it there at the coffee shop. Do you want it to be served in an 8? Do you want it to be served in a 6? I'll start asking those questions because I know coffee, but I also know my regular people that go to the coffee shop. Everyone that goes into my coffee shop, or hopefully also in Nashville, it's like I'll have a mom with like 3 kids coming in, and if she asks me for a flat white, I'm not going to ask her all those questions. I'm like, no, she just wants coffee and milk. And she just heard a flat white. if you have an accent and you're from, I'm gonna ask you, like, if you have like a British or if you have like an Australian accent, which has happened before, and you ask for a flat white, like, I know what you're asking for. I know what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's interesting.
How often are you at the shop?
Wow, like once a month. I don't go there that often. That's why you build a team. You build an awesome team around you that like can help
that's
you
good.
get to where you want
That's
to.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just comes in once a month to check that they're doing these profile checks on their customers and making sure they know, you know.
Oh no, when I go, they know when I go. So right now my fiance Michelle and my general manager, they know when I go. They just either get a phone call or like a text of like a laundry list of things that my eye sees that no one else will see. Like I'll go with like, okay, I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I'll go with my finger and I'll check the picture frames, make sure that they were dusted. I'll go like, and it's just like very small, minute little details. And everyone's like, hey man, if because I won't tell the employees directly, I'll tell the managing team. And then the managing team will tell the employees. And my fiance, who is one of the managing team, she goes like, hey, if I get yelled at by Gabe, I'm gonna yell at you guys also. Because there's certain things like, dude, believe it or not believe it or not, but I've said this before. Every time that I hire any employees, I always ask them, like, I always tell them, hey guys, let's make sure our bathrooms are clean. So the same exact idea that Greg had, when you're walking into a gym, when you walk into any business, the first place I go to is your restroom. If that restroom is pristine, if you're taking pride in that restroom, into something that we all know is theoretically it's dirty, right? We go either use number 1 or number 2 there, wash our hands and stuff like that. If that's taken care of, then you know the rest of the shop is also taken care of. You know that there's pride going into every little aspect, not just the thing that everyone is going to see, because everyone's going to see the front. Not everyone's going to use the restroom. But that's the point. If we take pride in everything that we do, then it's going to reflect in not only our brick and mortar store, but it's also going to reflect in our online store. It's going to reflect the relationships we have. And it's also going to reflect in like this interaction that we have. So I tell everyone, like, dude, just like when Greg was saying like, hey, I literally go into my affiliates, I go to the bathroom, and if it's a crap bathroom, it's a crap affiliate. I take that to pride and I take that to heart.
That makes sense.
So it's weird how even that like little aspect of like CrossFit affects my business.
So I think, I said I'd eat dinner off the floor.
Thank you, man.
It's funny. I was just thinking about the Google reviews that you were on. You called in so and you were talking about the Google reviews, and I was thinking, now I'm gonna have to go and leave one and say, yeah, I know that the owner checks the picture frames for dust. Like,
yeah. I asked, it was crazy. I asked for a little bit of help on reviews just because we only had 6. And like an hour later, we had 50.
Oh, really?
I was like, okay, all right. And it's just cool. It's just cool to know like we can ask for help from our community and really get that feedback. That's why I said, hey man, when I'm at events, as equally as it is like supporting awesome individuals like Kyra, it's also about like having those interactions with like Corey, talking to everyone. I remember the first year at the that we went to the games where I was scared shitless about going. I just like called Seb and I'm like, hey man, if I go to the games, are you gonna like promote that I'm there and like help it out? And he's like, of course. And I had so many people come. We even had to ship things to Heidi. Heidi was so dope. Like I didn't know who she was. I was like, Heidi, can we ship like 20 boxes of shirts to your house? And she lived in an apartment at that time. She's like, yeah, I remember. I was like, holy crap. If I knew that you lived in an apartment, I would not have shipped 20 boxes. She was so cool and letting us just like use that address for us to ship that stuff to make sure that it got there. It was so cool. So again, it's one of those things where I'm like, dude, it's so fun to be here with you guys, be here with awesome athletes, and also like see all the comments, and everyone except for Travis is really cool there in the comments.
Oh, Travis.
Oh, poor Travis.
For all he does. If Gabe didn't call it out, I would have forgotten to buy more paper string. Yeah, there you go. Interesting. But I think it's good as well because like you can support people like Kyra, which is great. But if you're not doing a good job within the business, if like, if I go to the games, and I'm like, yeah, they were there, but they were just there to watch their friends, and you know, it was like an inconvenience for me to ask them to make me a coffee because they didn't want that to do that. They wanted to be, you know, taking pictures of their athletes and promoting that. The business isn't going to thrive, and then if the business isn't thriving, you're not in a position to support athletes. So, you know, it's as much as I think even you, like, I'm sure Kyra would love to like look out and see you in the stands and be like, oh, he's cheering me on, that's great, so happy to see Gabe smiling at me. It's probably more important that she's like, oh, it's good that he's focusing on the business and that he's, you know, doing what he's passionate about with that, because that actually benefits me as well. So
for sure.
you know.
And like I'll always make sure like I stop by the booth and like check in on him and
Yeah.
tell him everything that's happening too. I get my coffee, and so it's fun.
And I respect that. I appreciate that so much, because as an athlete, you don't have to, but you make it an effort to come out to do that. So that's something that, like, hey, that just goes to, for me, right? It's like, hey, I'm writing that down and like mentally taking it out. Like, this is how cool it is that when Kyra's competing at Rogue, she's a competitor there. She's worked her ass off to get there. She made it an effort to come. Even when you were at the games, it was a lot going on, and you still came and said hi. And that to me, like, spoke so much about maybe the relationship we have, but also the type of person you are, where you not everyone did that. And
well, it's also like we're not just working together. Yeah, we are, but like we're also friends. And so I want to come say hi to you, not just be able to text you, but like see you face to face and check in. And that's what I like with like everybody that I work with. I want it to be a nice friendly relationship that like I enjoy talking to you. And not just being like, well, I guess I have to go see Gabe now. Okay.
Gabe, how far away from the games do you live?
Well, from Texas now, it's probably like a 4-hour flight, maybe
4-hour flight.
Yeah.
So have you worked out, Kyra, how you're going to like just pop over to see him when the baby's born during the games to pop back to show your support?
It'll be the competition on August 25th.
All right.
There's no need.
It's not going to be like if they again did like when they'd like, we'll do a Wednesday event, and then there's nothing on Thursday, but then there will be on Friday. You'll be like, okay, I'll use the Thursday to travel.
No.
Pop in, see Gabe.
This might be too soon. You never know when somebody wants
and even like this goes to show how cool Kyra is. I remember when we were there at the Underdogs camp last year, not this past year, and RX was doing that like seminar thing with the rope, and I wasn't gonna work out. She was like, "You're gonna work out."
So you know, I'm doing it. You're doing it.
Exactly. It was just like the ability for her to also be like looking out and being like, hey, make sure you're, you know, doing this also. So like that's the relationship that we're looking for when it comes to athletes. Like, you don't have to, like, it could just be a transactional relationship, and then that means that the relationship won't succeed and it won't continue. And
well, like literally any ideas that I have, I'll just text Gabe. I'm like, hey, how do we feel about this? And so like, and he'll tell me like I like it and I don't like it.
Yeah, how quick was the shirt turnaround? Like, it was just a funny thing. It was just like a fun thing.
30 seconds. I kid you not.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, look at this. He's like, oh, I got you. And then within 30 seconds, I got like this design of a shirt. He's like, this will be made.
Yeah, and it's just being able to have like cool relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently, if you want any Paper Street stuff, it's all 75% off at the moment, according to Vindicate. So
you see, exactly. I told you, Travis is not a cool guy. He's just old and like just resentful.
Old and resentful. Oh. Wow. Oh.
He's gonna kill me. Yeah. We're trying to have him get one of Colton's dogs. He doesn't want to buy another dog.
Oh, his dogs are so cute. My roommate really, really wants one.
There you go. You see, Travis? Everyone wants Colton's dog.
Everyone wants Colton's dog.
He doesn't want to. He says no. He doesn't want one. I'm like, dude, you don't want one. You need one. Just go get it.
Yeah.
Kiefer told me we're not allowed to have any dogs right now. So I give all my money away basically to rescues, and so I was like, okay, like I want to start like fostering a dog, and then he said not until after semis. And now because I made the games, it can't be until after games.
Oh wow, he's punishing you for making the games. That's
adorable.
I just want to help him.
Yeah.
I follow so many rescues here. And I'm like, listen, if I could just like save my money and at least take one in and help.
Yeah.
It'd be beneficial for everyone.
Yeah. Instead of giving all my money away, I'm going to
Yeah.
keep the money for us to help this one.
Yeah.
The puppies.
There's some logic there, I guess. But okay.
But like foster, if you foster, the foster pays for all the bills. You're just being able to take them to the vet and provide them love, care, all the things that they need. But like, it's not out of your pocket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if they do that here. I'd be intrigued to know.
Really?
I don't know. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about the history of guide dogs, and like from like because it's kind of a crazy thing, right? Like, how did that start? That people were like, this blind person, give them a guide dog, that will solve all the problems. So it was like all the history of how it began and the first people that did it, and even seeing kind of within history where there were like depictions of this kind of thing happening. But the person that was giving this report, and this was from Australia, so I don't know if they do this here either, but she has an ambassador guide dog, because she's an ambassador for the whatever like Victoria guide dogs or whatever it is. And it basically means it's a dog that just didn't qualify to be a guide dog. And I think the reason is for this one, it's because they are like slightly hesitant when going up and down stairs, and they can't be hesitant. They have to just go.
Yeah.
And so
like
for that
they're the best dogs ever still, just like
yeah. So she's got this dog that is like super well trained, super obedient, can do all of that. And then because it's an ambassador guide dog, the idea is that you take it out as a guide dog and you take it into shops and into the theater and things like that, because it's helping those businesses get used to like, oh, no dogs allowed. No, you can't say no dogs allowed. This is a guide dog. You have to allow them. I think he said there's like 3 places they're not allowed. It's like kitchens and I can't remember 2 other places. Yeah. But I was like, oh, this is the perfect dog. Like, this is the solution, right? You get an ambassador guide dog. You don't have to worry about any of the rules. You can take it everywhere. It's super well trained. So I'm like, okay, if ever we got a dog, that's the dog to get. But at the moment, no dogs.
Yeah, we had a lady.
Kids. That's enough.
We had a lady that trained like golden retrievers,
right.
trained service dogs, and one of the puppies that she brought into the gym, like after it got older, just couldn't be a service dog, I think, because it was too friendly, and she ended up staying with it. But she would always bring the dogs into the gym, to the movie theaters, to the mall, to all these places. And yeah, that's cool. Kyra, you got to stop sending me the videos. She sends me like links of like, hey, it would be cool if you had another dog. And
I'm like, hey, if you want to just adopt this dog right now, because I can't, I'll bring him to you.
Yeah.
Travis, 2 of those kids are already older, and they're going to college.
Yeah, but he's been waiting for that. Like, there's been years that he's been, this is the moment, and then you're saying now that finally that's happening, bring more responsibility into the house. No, I'm with Travis on this one. I'm sorry.
More love into the house.
Jake, what's my downstairs issue? I don't know.
I don't like this because I'm not looking at the comments.
Sorry. Okay.
I pull up the comments.
I'll pull up the comment. Here you are. So, Gabe, did you mention downstairs sorted? Good to see Jason this week. That's because my camera didn't work last week.
Nice.
In fact, I actually think I discovered why my camera didn't work. And it means blaming my wife, so I don't think I will say what happened. But anyway, yeah, that's sure. Okay, very good. Also, there was a comment made earlier that because now that I remember that you don't see them, you made the games fantastic. Now you can't have a dog go do 150 burpees. So
yeah,
I mean, I would be worried. Don't make the podium, because you might never be allowed to have a dog at that point.
Listen, if I was able to just get stress-free to the games, I would not care. I would have another dog.
Kyra, what changes? Like when it comes? Obviously, training is going to change, but what other aspects do you think you're going to change? Like during this process, leading training up to the games.
I don't think anything. Just more outdoor training. I think basically everything we've done this last year has proven to work, and so don't really need to change more. Just do like a lot more aerobically fit things. Start swimming again, just like little stuff like that. And then have some really, really fun training partners. So excited for them to come down.
start swimming again. Little stuff like that. Yeah, that's
little stuff like that. Yeah. And Gracie's actually going to be staying with us, and she's one of the best swimmers ever. So it'll be fun to be able to go swim with her and have her tear apart all my technique.
Yeah. Oh. But I mean, you're teachable. That's good, right?
Yeah. Keeper would say otherwise, but yeah.
Yeah, but he'll say we can't have a dog. We don't listen to him.
He's supposed to say otherwise.
I know.
Gabe, you sound like you were about to ask a question, and then I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna just like pick her brain about the whole training situation and everything like that, because you're used to just you're used to working out and training in an environment with like a lot of people, right? And now you're having a lot more people coming in. Like how beneficial is that to like your own kind of like self-esteem and like ability to be like around? Humans are communal creatures. Like how cool is that to be around like all those people? I'm assuming like-minded individuals.
It's so fun. So like when Kiefer went out to Europe for the semifinals, he asked if it was okay, and I was like, hey, like I'm totally fine with that, but like selfishly, I need Brandon to come down. Like I need to be able to train with him, like have somebody else here with me. And like, so being able to have like he was just here for a week, and I thought it was like super beneficial. So being able to have them for a month plus, I'm very, very excited. It's just nice to like have somebody day in, day out, like do the same things. Like if you don't want to show up, there's other people that want to show up with you. And where like this is my first year at the games, like as an individual, I might not be that great at some of those game stuff. And so having them be able to show me how to do stuff will be a huge help too.
Nice. Yeah. Do you think people are more, it seemed this year, people were kind of having a bit more fun during semifinals? Like obviously not when when it was like down to the line and they found out they didn't go to the games, but just throughout there was a lot of people talking about just kind of it just I was enjoying the experience more. I was just like enjoying being at semifinals. I mean, even ones like Daniel Brandon said she kind of enjoyed it more. And you think, well, you've done loads of semifinals, you've made it to the games multiple times, but yeah, it seemed, and I don't know. And obviously Haley Adams was a big one because she came back with a completely kind of different attitude, and I don't know. It just seemed across the board people were kind of having a bit more fun doing CrossFit than before.
I think like when people are stressed, right? Like, and you're around people who are stressed, it's hard for you to have fun because they're not having fun with you. So if everybody's just like smiling, like and having fun and like wishing you good luck, and they're just just chatting in the back, it's easier to let all of that stress go. And so I think like our semifinals, there wasn't a ton of people stressed. Like, yeah, you're stressed for sure, but like you're also there with your friends, having fun, competing, like just working out really fast for fun.
How was it having Tia back?
It's cool. It was so cool to watch. I mean, she lost one event and she got third on that. So being able to come back after having a kid and dominating, it'll be a fun watch at the games between her and Laura.
Yeah. Do you think it will be fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because that was something like blowing up in the live chat. If you were watching, if you were like me stuck here in England and you have to watch everything online, was kind of there was this sort of debate going on of, is it fun or is it boring? Like, because she's so, and I just think it's an interesting, it's definitely the kind of topic I would pick up on where I can sit in the middle and not have to choose a side, but be like, is it fun or is it boring? Like, is greatness, like watching greatness, some people really enjoy that, to see just how good someone can be. And other people are like, the men's races were really exciting because you just didn't know who was going to win. And that's it. So it's just two different types of excitement, but for some it's very boring. Like if it's a kind of foregone conclusion, but but
even if she runs away with it, second place will still be fun.
Yeah, like I'm still watching F1, like especially now, right? Like hey, last year Verstappen just won everything, and now it's like getting a little bit more like there's another contender. So like, hey, cool, maybe she's gonna win, but I'm still watching every single race, even when I know like, hey, okay, cool, maybe it's a long circuit, and we know Verstappen's gonna win, but I'm still watching for the other races. And I think like the cool thing with her coming back, especially like after being a mom, it's like, oh dude, now we get to see another, like now we get to see how CrossFit affects another person. Like we all know Annie, we all know Kyra from Australia, and it's like now we're starting to see like a lot more people, a lot more athletes coming back after being mothers and like kicking ass. And I think that's really cool, not only for the sport, like the sport's cool and awesome and really dope, but like overall for CrossFit, right? I do have obviously like being down there and proven it's cool to see. You know, I've talked to Shane and Tia because they're my landlords, more about parent stuff than about athletic stuff. Like it's so cool. Like we talk about parent stuff and the conversation can go on for 30, 45 minutes. And it's just like, it's a different aspect and a different side to them. And I really think that it's going to be really cool to see what she does. And no matter what she does, I think it's still dope. Like, hey, let's say she comes in third, like that's still cool. Like she just had a kid, like even at Rogue, like, right. Like I didn't get what she was doing until like I'm in the process now of like speaking to her doula and realizing like, oh crap, like the fact that she was able to do that with her body like a few months postpartum was
insane.
I don't even like crazy in a good way, not crazy in a bad way. You know, people are, you know.
Well, I always think too, like Kyra Saunders when it was the Rogue Invitational, but it was like online during the pandemic years, and it was all. Remember, they had to all do the workout at this exact same time because they were streaming it from all their different locations, and of course she's in Australia, so it's like the middle of the night. She's doing these workouts. She's just had a baby. She's like feeding the baby in between like workouts and still crushing it. So like it is incredible to see that. And I mean, this year you've got Tia back as an individual. You've got Kyra back as, you know, on a team. So I mean, we could have two incredible Australian mums on the podiums. You know, that would be exciting.
Yeah, like the beauty of like this one, the sport that obviously Kyra's in and we support. It's like it's so cool that you can see all that. It's very like you could still be the top of your profession, having given birth, having all these other things, and obviously we're focusing on like moms right now, but like that's really cool to see that. Like when I was a coach, I think I've had probably more than 10 athletes that we helped through pregnancy, which is really cool, right? Like you get to see like a baby bump, then you get to see really big baby bump, and then you get to see baby afterwards, and mom is just constantly moving. We're constantly like adjusting things, and I think like Tia being like as big as she is, right? Like having that be like a good example, I think, for this aspect of the community.
Yeah, because I think actually if you're someone who's in an affiliate like for a long time, it's not unusual to see people like have children, come back, or, you know, work out during their pregnancy, maybe stop for a little bit, come back. But if you're just looking at CrossFit from the outside, like you wouldn't sort of imagine that. So then having someone like Tia that's sort of like a real big spotlight, it just shows like at the like with all things, it's kind of like this is the extreme of what is possible, and then you still see similar things happening. I mean, when I started CrossFit, one of the coaches that would like previously been to regionals and on the team and stuff like that, she was very heavily pregnant when I began. So I come in, you know, not thinking I'm particularly fit, but being like, okay, I might not be the fittest person in the world, but I'm pretty sure I can beat a pregnant woman, right? No way. Like destroying any time. Like, so, you know, if she wasn't coaching, she was coming and doing the classes as well. And so like we'd do workouts together. And I was like, this woman's insane. Like, how is she so good and so pregnant? And then, you know, she's had now 2 kids, and she was on the team at Strength in Depth as part of the affiliate, because she's still, you know, a great athlete despite being a mum, even though she's like, oh, I'm coming back, I'm not as good as I once was. That's the other thing that I really, they was like, oh, I'm not as good as I once was. Yeah, you know, and then it's still amazing. You're just like, oh,
yeah,
shut up, you're not as good as you. I'm not as good as I was. I'm still better than you, but I'm not as good as I was. Like, okay.
Like even those things are so common to us, but it's so uncommon to a huge, vast majority of the population. Like, and even again, Pauline is here this week with us training, and she came for the baby shower. It's just like even like she's training to be where Kyra is, right? And even just like her body type isn't like a normal body type that you would see, and it's like the introduction to even some of the people that work at our coffee shop, right? It's like you see, even I have little kid neighbors next door, and I don't mind. I don't think she cares that I share the story. The little kids next door, they're three awesome young boys, 5, 8, and 12. They text, our neighbor texted us, and they go, does Miss Michelle not like Mr. Gabe anymore? And because I was down here, and they saw through the windows, they saw Paulina. And Paulina, she had her hair up, and she was just wearing an oversized shirt, and she has like big broad shoulders, and they thought that it was just like another guy. And I died laughing. Paulina died laughing, and it's just one of those things where, like, to us, like, that body's beautiful, and like even dudes and all that stuff, but to everyone else, it's not. It's so not common, and you constantly, and I mean, I'm sure, Kyra, you maybe get this a lot more, because you are the person that has the body, like, people looking and staring.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, because like we know it's a lot of hard work. But it's just like those. Travis just texted me. Yeah, Travis, that happened. It's just funny. It's just like really weird and funny. And now, the general manager for our coffee shop in Nashville, she's actually just finishing up her very first CrossFit class. Today, she literally, I think, started it like an hour ago, maybe.
Oh, that's so fun. She's gonna be so sore tomorrow.
Yeah, and she doesn't no fitness. She's no fitness. She's the general manager of a coffee shop. So
she's calling in sick tomorrow. She's like, I can't work. I'm sorry.
But it's like those little things that we bring into like the big overall picture of the business, for me, is like super important. Like that for me, the and I'm sure Kyra has this too. Like, hey, we're cool with failure. Why? Because we fail so much, right? Like, we fail the back squat. We fail so much. Like how devastating is it to not perform like you want to perform, and how awesome is it to see videos of you, like, your body just like going into tears when they announce your name, right? Because you see, remember, like I said, hey, we need those valleys and we need those peaks, baby. Yeah. We need we need the ruck run at Rogue, so we can appreciate the tears of joy.
Kyra disagrees. She's like, we don't need the ruck run.
Fully, only because that was not fitness. That was all shin splints. Yes, also fitness, but mainly shin splints, and that's why I was walking.
But like, how cool is it to like know, like, especially knowing how fuck, man, like, I wish I didn't get shin splints. Or like, me personally, when I see my athletes or I see my friends kind of do like have a moment and have a time, like, I felt for Colton. I felt for Taylor this weekend. Like, I felt for them. But I also know, like, at the end of the day, like, it was a text to Colton, like, good job, pussy. Right? I know I wouldn't text to Kyra that, right? I don't.
Of course not. Of course not. She qualified.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like we need those things so we can appreciate. Like, I almost teared up when I saw her, like, just be overcome with emotion, because that's what it is. I know.
You didn't cry for me? Dang.
Dude, because now that I'm having a kid, I cry almost about every little thing. So I'm learning how to, like, okay, someone wrote a nice little note in the book. I'm like, hold it in, don't cry.
Breathe.
Don't cry.
Yeah.
Like,
5-star review on Google.
Yeah, honestly, like, today when we saw the kid's face, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna cry, because if I cry, then Michelle's gonna cry, and then it's gonna be a whole stream of crying. So we're just gonna, like, take it all in. But it's like those things that, because we're so comfortable with being so vulnerable and failing, and especially Kyra, like, you failing in front of not only your coach but your significant other, and failing in front of, like, high performing athletes. Like, damn, man, like, when we have those highs, like, when we're going to the games, like, it feels different. It feels fucking, like, really dope.
Feels like everything was worth it, which is really nice.
That's why someone like Colton just has those extreme swings, though, doesn't he? It's like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So, like, him missing out on the games is such a low, like him beating Brent on that workout was like such a high. I mean, that was
dope.
so I was watching that and I had to like wind it back and like get my wife's attention to be like, you've got to see this. You've got to see that. It was so good. Yeah. Because Gabe knows I'll make fun of him.
Yes, Travis. Yes, I won't cry in front of Travis.
No.
Yay.
Travis will make fun of me. No, I'll he just texted me. But like even dude, like that was such an awesome moment for him, even though he didn't get that was such an awesome moment for like for a bunch of reasons. It wasn't just I think for him, it's just like that cool, like, hey, this is competition. You have Brent, who's tall, and you have Colton, who's like way super short. And just like the fact that like, hey, you could use that as like a way to say like, hey, this sport is for this sport methodology, whatever you want to call it, even though they're different, is for so many people, many different types of people. And you're right, like, damn, man, his swings are really awesome swings, but his strikeouts are really awesome strikeouts too.
And that's why he's a crowd favorite. And that's I feel like the last year or so, I was thinking about this the other day. It's maybe another topic that I have to do a video on. But for a long time, people were like, "Oh, CrossFit needs a villain." This used to be like thrown out all the time. Like, "Oh, CrossFit needs a villain because, like, look at UFC, look at this, look at that. CrossFit needs a villain so people can kind of." And I was like, I don't think they need a villain. And actually, what I just think they need is personalities.
There you go.
Now we're seeing that you're getting different people, and they're not villains. Like, it's not people coming out like that we want to hate and rally against. It's just different personalities, but we're like, oh, I like them, they're funny, I like them, I like the way they interact. So we're getting more and more, and it seems like this last year, and probably a lot of that is due to like Savan spotlighting so many of them, that's letting us get to know their personality. But I think that's why I like things like this, where you get a chance to speak to someone like Kyra and learn a bit about her, and so I'm like, okay, I know her personality, I know that she's going to give all her money away to dogs, so next time I see her, I better make sure I've got a dog on me just so I can
yeah, and
buy a cup of coffee.
There's still so much, like, I'm sure, and obviously like Kyra is like, there's still so much that we could learn more about, like the more about the backstory of Kyra and just like who she is as a person, and this platform, maybe this platform isn't what where she needs to say that type of stuff. That's why I think for me, like when it comes to media, or like you said, like, hey, CrossFit needs a villain. No, we just need our athletes to be comfortable being who they are. Like, the reason why I say that is because like a bunch of the people that we used to partner with, like it was always just like a picture of them with a cup of coffee, and I'm like, hey man, no one is gonna know who you are because of that. Like, it's very different. Like, Kyra does awesome making awesome content. Ariel makes the funniest content, because I was just like, hey Ariel, be a mom. And like, look at what she posted today. When I saw that, I was like, what's happened? Like, I was like, okay, let's see what this is. And I fucking died. I died laughing when it was just like that like that ability to be like, hey, cool. Like, now we know Ariel's like a funny person. Not only is she a funny person, she's a mom. And now we have that backstory of her. We have the backstory of Colton. We're getting to know the backstory of all these awesome athletes, because every person is unique and individual. But it just sucks that some athletes, we just know them because of like pictures of like them with in their like sponsored clothes, and that's it, or them like performing muscle.
Curated, like that's and you can feel that, and that's where there isn't the genuine kind of, I mean, it's like, it's going back to like Starbucks, right? It's just like, this is what this coffee has to look like, and it has to look like this for everyone, and that's the kind of cut and paste model we're going to use, versus going into somewhere where they're asking you questions and they're getting to know you and being like, oh, actually, when you say flat white, you really mean a flat white, not just a milky coffee. Kyra's phone's about to die, so we need to start wrapping this up.
There's like 3% left.
Anyway, I mean, I've stolen a lot of your time already, so I appreciate that very much. I just find it fascinating as well that if I wanted to learn about the personalities of different athletes, I wouldn't have thought, let's go 5 years ago, oh, I need to go and check out a coffee company because they're going to show me like insights into these people. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem like the obvious place, right? But as you're saying, like the content that people. So I think like I'm not. Maybe I'll be able to visit your shop one day. Let's live in hope, but it's very unlikely. But I still want to follow your account. I still want to see what you're doing because there's so much good stuff there, even if I'm not going to get to go and visit, or even like the majority of the things you're doing kind of at events. I just can't be there because they're US based. Apart from Rogue, which we're going to see you at.
We'll come to you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you
We'll
come to me. I know I'm lazy.
No, you're not. He's just like, hey, man, you're doing what you can. So that's all good. Kyra will qualify. I'll go support Kyra.
Yeah.
I'll be there supporting you too. So
Yeah.
if they don't let me in, if I don't get that media pass that I'm hunting for, maybe if you can just like lift the gate or something and I'll just sneak in underneath, that would be really
Only if you
convenient.
buy a Quad Squad jersey. I won't know it's you if you don't have that on.
Oh, really? You'll be like face blind. You're like, I have no idea who this guy is.
No idea who this guy is. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Oh, see, people realize we're wrapping up. This is good. Great show. Y'all. There we go. I'll do the accent. Thanks, Gabe, for mentioning it earlier. Good luck, Kyra and Kima. Oh, did you mention it, Gabe? Well done. Wow.
Technology. Too much
love it.
technology.
Does that work for you, Gabe?
I'm on a PC, so no, I won't.
Does-
She's on a iPhone or iPad, so it works. It works for that.
You don't have the last name Hiller, you'll get a media pass. Yeah, it's not fair that Ellie Hiller won't get a media pass because but I'm sure she'll be fine. She'll survive. She's a good athlete. She had a good time at semifinals. Well, thank you so much, Gabe. Thank you, Kyra, not Kira.
I was going to say, you definitely second guessed that. You could hear that.
Yeah. And even I because I'm such a nerd, I even thought myself like there's the character Kira Nerys in Star Trek, and I was like, that's how I'll remember it. I'll remember that it's like that's Kira. That's not
Yeah.
you. You're
Nobody
Kyra.
else
Like
could
they're two
possibly
different
be
people,
Kira.
right? And despite telling myself that, it's just got in my head. It's like I never get Tyler or Taylor wrong unless I need to speak about like the two of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then it's just whichever random word I throw out at the time, that's the one. Anyway, okay. So thank you, Gabe. Everybody go and if I think everyone's already following Paper Street Coffee, but if they're not, go and do that. Everybody go and support Kyra on her, epic journey to the games where if she podiums, she gets a dog, apparently. So that's what we're hoping.
If I don't podium, I get a dog. I just want a dog.
You
I want
just
a third dog.
Yeah.
My dogs need a dog.
Your dogs need a dog. Oh, so it's not for you.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not for me. It's for the dogs. The dogs need a dog. Okay. And all the best with the baby on the way, Gabe. That's exciting.
Appreciate
and,
it, man. Thank you so much.
You're a busy man, and you're just about to get so much busier.
Let's go.
But,
Let's go. I'm here for it. I need more work.
Enjoy that. So it's already doing 2 shows today. So I think I'll be back next Monday. I know it will be a little bit later. It will probably be whatever time it is now for you. We'll be starting in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. So that's like 9 o'clock for me. That's whatever time it is where you are. Add an hour and 20 minutes. That will be the time. I know one of the guests will be John Woolley. We'll be talking about his rebirth with a new account, and there'll be another guest. I don't know who it is, though. They'll be amazing, though. So not as good as the guest today, obviously, but they'll also be really good. So thank you everyone for all the wonderful comments. Thank you guys for coming on, and hopefully I see some of you next week.